What's up, gang? Kevin Makins here, and today I'm going to introduce you to my beloved friend, Jesse Driftwood Korgama. If you've been following this channel since the beginning, then you know Jesse. He helped with a bunch of the initial videos. We still work on stuff together. He did Holy Shift with me. We did this big bike tour together. And in the last year, his life has turned kind of upside down in a good way. He has blown up on Instagram. He's had these opportunities to travel and do all sorts of new video projects, and he's gotten this studio in this cool, kind of gritty alleyway. You can actually remember that alleyway from Advent last year. I'm gonna touch this. It was really nastier than I thought it was gonna be. And so I thought we'd pop by the studio and see what advice he has to young people who are trying to find their path in this world, especially if you're engaged in the creative arts or any of that kind of stuff. Jesse! Jesse!
Yeah.
Huh? Are you gonna jump down? Don't you have a broken collarbone right now?
Yes.
If you haven't met him before, everyone, this is Jesse Driftwood Korgama.
Hi, friends. After you.
Thanks. Oh, Justin, studio mate of Jesse's.
Yo.
Hey, my bike. If I just arrived, how did my bike get here already? Also, I drank some of your coffee. Balance you back out there.
Thanks, that's perfect.
Jesse, when polled, young people today say the #1 job that they are looking for is to be a YouTuber or a social media influencer, which you are becoming both of those things.
Yes, I'm every young man's dream.
Did you start looking to be a social media influencer slash YouTuber?
No, not even a little bit. My roots came from travel. And so me and some friends were traveling, taking photos, taking videos. And then we got home and we were like, oh, we want to keep doing this. What do we shoot? And so we kind of stumbled into the creative world and we started doing weddings.
And how many years would you estimate you did that kind of work?
7, 8 years. My biggest problem was that we had done weddings for so long and it was taking up so much of my time that I wasn't creating anything just for fun. I want to keep shooting.
Yeah. But I have to pay all my bills.
And how am I going to afford camera gear if I don't have jobs?
The kind of thing that you have now most been known for, and that's kind of breaking you into new areas, is making stories on Instagram stories, like 15-second clips and a couple of them a day.
I started with Instagram stories for 2 reasons. One is that I knew I wanted to create content just for fun, just for myself. And I also knew that I didn't have time, in addition to all my wedding edits that I had to get through, to create like a large thing. So I was like, 15 seconds, I can fill 15 seconds.
And then when did you shift to like, this is a thing I'm gonna do every day or a thing I'm gonna do regularly?
It was like making a list of things that like I value. Being healthy and physically active and sleeping well and spending time with my family. And one of them was I wanted to be creative every day. I just want to shoot something every day. And I started and I would go out and I would shoot a time lapse of something and then I would have nowhere to put it, right? So I would just be like, all right, and then I delete it. So yeah, stories was a great way, just an outlet for me to do the thing I wanted to do. But
it wasn't like a career move for you. No, to be like, I'll make videos that delete after 24 hours.
The time, like the life cycle of it was the pressure that I needed to make me do it every day.
Some sort of structure. But then they did like take off.
Yes.
What was the turn there? How did that all happen?
Yeah, I have a friend, Peter Makins.
Social media influencer and YouTuber.
And he featured me on his channel as like, someone who is using a platform in a way that other people weren't.
Okay, so I find this fascinating, and I think this is relevant for anyone watching. Somebody could look at that clip and say like, oh, well, Jesse got this clip spotlighted with this very massive person, so then Jesse gets all this stuff. I just need to find somebody to spotlight my something. Not entirely accurate.
Not even close to accurate. So the fact is, like, you're never going to get featured on that large channel unless you're already doing the thing you want to do. I've had a lot of people tell me like, that's so cool. If I had that many followers, then I would also do this.
I'd be making things also.
Yeah. And it's like, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because, I mean, you're not going to grow an audience unless you're already making videos.
Or doing disciplines is also really, really hard.
Yeah, yeah. It sucks. I don't know. A lot of it for me was about building a self-discipline of like forcing myself to do something every day, even when I didn't feel creatively inspired. Like when I would rather get 9 hours of sleep.
So I was speaking at a young adults conference a while ago, and one of the big questions people had was like, how do I achieve my dreams? And I was trying to shrink it back to say like the smallest steps you take today will add into that. But I think it's relevant then in this case, not just to say that the small steps you took were making Instagram stories every day, but before that you had 7 years of experience honing a skill.
Yeah.
So how do you see this whole thing tying together? If somebody's watching this, they think in 10 years, I'd love to be in this place. What advice do you have for them?
Patience and perseverance is huge because it's going to take a while. Nobody just gets, or very few people get good that quickly. There's an element of talent, and some people have more and some people have less. I would say I have average. I've just been doing it for a really long time. So forcing myself into this wasn't just a way for me to be disciplined in this, it was a way that I wanted to grow discipline in my entire life. My eating and in my physical activity.
Speaking of eating and discipline, I want to talk more about now that you're in this place, some of the disciplines you bring into your life, but we also want to eat. My favorite feature of your whole place.
It used to be a whole thing, but somebody broke it. I'm gonna damage it walking on it. It looks like me, roofie.
Wow, Jesse, that's a smooth transition. Might be a little loud.
I could probably get an extension cable if you just want to hold the microphone. Hello there, and we'll be in opposite ears.
We decided that we're going to do ASMR experience. This is the sound of a euro. You've had a bunch of opportunities this year. You've worked to create opportunities for yourself. What's been the biggest challenge for your own just like health and soul and life and all this?
Oh, time management. Far, far and away. I mean, for me, I'm in this transitional phase, right? Where I'm trying to create content for myself and for now my audience every day.
Right.
But I also have actual clients. I have a wife and a child and a community that I'm a part of.
Right.
So trying to juggle all of these things is difficult at best. Right now, for the past several months, I've been doing my like story editing between like midnight and 3 a.m.
Right.
So once my family goes to sleep, I stay awake and I edit, and then one of two things happens in the morning. Either I wake up early with everyone and I don't sleep much, which after a while becomes unsustainable, or I end up sleeping in and then I'm ruining my next day. And so I know that it has been pushing myself towards unsustainability. And that's what I've recognized recently. Is I have to change something in order to prioritize my family more.
Right. I've heard somebody talk about like it's like a pendulum, and on the one side is rest, and on the other side is work. And that the goal isn't actually to find the balance, but to know which season you're in.
Yeah. I taught a class on Sunday on photography, and one of the students sent me a bunch of pictures that they took of me, and one of my eyes was like half closed and watery in all of the photos. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I slept like 4 hours maybe that night. And I was like, it's showing. It's physically manifesting itself in my body that I'm tired.
I remember for a season, I was like, when Eucharist was starting, I developed an eye twitch that would just be twitching all the time, and I was like, this is normal. This is perfectly. And eventually I was like, I can't tell people about like the peace that Christ affords you if my left eye is twitching from stress. How has your family, your faith, your community, how have they come together to help you navigate this season?
I have a lot of people that, for lack of a better word, will keep me accountable. Like people be like, you don't need to keep creating right now. Usually they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes there is a need for me to push myself beyond what I think I'm capable of. And then there are times that they're right, and I cannot push myself.
Still.
Having people like my wife saying like, you don't need to do it today. You need to rest a little bit.
But it's easy, and I mean, this is, I think, good advice for anyone watching this who is pursuing something that's important to them. It's important to work a lot and to work really hard, but it's also easy to lose track of it, especially if you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or love what you're doing on the side as you try to transition this out.
I know I do work better when I've had some rest. I start becoming less productive when I've slept less and I've worked more.
Okay, last question. I heard you say this a couple of weeks ago, and that was when I was like, oh, I should talk to Jesse about this. You were saying to me that like when people message you and they say, what's the advice you'd give me as I'm building my portfolio or I'm building my career?
Well, I tell people a lot that it's really important to work on their character, because even if your work is great and you might stand out above the crowd and clients might be booking you, if you're kind of a dick to work with, people aren't going to hire you again or want to continue to work with you. Whereas on the other side, your work might not be the best. It might not stand out above everyone else's, but when people like working with you or like spending time with you, you're more likely to work with them again and have referrals to other jobs. I would just say don't let your character fall by the wayside. Don't forget to work on you as an individual while you're pursuing you as a creative.
So be a healthy human being.
Be a healthy human being.
Any final words?
Thank you for having me.
One more thing. Jesse is who shot and edited Holy Shift, and I will be posting that after this. It's a 60-minute video. And how long did we take to work on it, Jesse?
We took 2 years to work on it.
2 years. New video next week. I am announcing the stupidly largest thing I and my community have ever been involved in, and I'm terrified. So look forward to that. Ah!
Down here?
Ooh, I like this. We should have done this a long time